body armor. One of the most annoying things to see on that kill cam is that 2 HP guy that had body armor. And you're probably wondering to yourself, would I have killed him if he didn't have body armor? The answer is yes. So basically, to sum it up here, the body armor will actually prevent 1 shot of damage. Now, there are a lot of interesting interactions in between a lot of different things, so you'll see that once we go over that. But let's go ahead and go over what I would consider what most people want, which is how many shots does it take to kill somebody with and without body armor in the game. So anyways, let's go ahead and get started. We're going to go over the FMJ attachment. What the heck does that do against body armor? What does FMJ 1 and 2 combined do to body armor? As well as what does high caliber 1 and 2 also do to body armor? Anyways, to kick it off from left to right, we'll start with the ICR. The ICR actually takes 5 shots to kill, but it's going to change into a 6 shot to kill against someone with body armor. The Rampart 17 is going to be a 4 shot kill, but it's going to change into a 5 shot. Same thing with the Can, that is a 4 shot kill gun, but it's going to go to a 5 shot. The Vapor as well as the Maddox are both 5 shot kill guns, but they will turn into a 6 shot kill guns when they have body armor. But also wanted to mention all these testings that you guys are going to be seeing. In fact, you'll see how I was doing my testing later in this video. But really important, they're all going to be point blank. And also, they are going to be on targets that have 150 HP. Obviously, that's what's considered default. Anyways, I'm not going to test out the 200 because that is due to a special ability. Now also, Battle Royale is a thing. So that actually is something we're going to cover in a future video. So if you'd like to know about the Battle Royale and as far as how armor works in there, because there's armor level 1, 2, and 3, make sure you subscribe to the channel. I will get that out for you guys later down the line. Next up, the submachine guns. Every submachine gun in this game actually takes 6 shots to kill, but it becomes 7 if they have armor. At the end of the day, basically everything is 1 shot, but there are some weird things, so I know YouTubers are like, stay till the end of the video because they need that AdSense, but no, really, there's some actually really strange things with armor versus certain things, and there's actually a gun that doesn't work properly, and I'll get into that in a second. But anyways, yeah, these are across the board all the same. What it really comes down to is armor is more effective against slower firing guns because obviously there's that delay in between the shot, and that's when you can maybe kill that person. Next up, as far as the tactical rifles, this is actually really important. So the Auger will kill in 3 shots. We're not counting high caliber or FMJ. You'll see what those do in a second. But with the Auger, because it is a slower firing gun, I mean, you can tap it, but the thing is that if you're talking about, like, you know, body shots that aren't getting any multipliers, as in you're shooting their, like, feet or toes, this actually has a really long time to kill against people who have armor because it's a 4 shot instead of a 3, and because it's a slower firing gun technically than submachine guns and stuff, it's a little bit more difficult. So armor basically excels at slower firing guns. Next up, the ABR. This is a burst gun, so it shoots 3 in 1 burst. However, if you actually land 4 bullets against no armor, that will actually kill somebody. It will take actually 5 shots against armor. So again, it's just pretty much the same across the board, but you'll get into some weird stuff later on. But anyways, the Swordfish, 5 shots against no armor, 6 shots against armor. This is a 4-round burst, but there is a pentaburst, so you can still 1 burst someone with no armor, but you can never 1 burst someone unless you're getting headshots with someone that has armor. Even if you have the pentaburst and every shot lands, it will not 1-shot them because that's just the way this works. As far as the LMG goes, the Titan will actually be a 4-shot kill, but change to a 5 if they have armor. The Hades is a 5-shot, which will change to a 6-shot. The VKM is a 3-shot, but it will change to a 4-shot if they happen to have armor. Next up, the sniper rifles. Now, this is where it gets interesting, and I'll show you guys footage of this when we go over like the kind of proof thing, but I just wanted to add this to the very beginning of the video so it makes more sense, and I guess most people just want to know like how many shots where and stuff like that. So the Paladin will actually still 1-shot in the upper area if they have armor, but it depends on where exactly hitting them, but you can still 1-shot them in the upper region, and it will still 1-shot sometimes. It depends, again, on how close you are. However, one important thing I want to mention, with the attachment on the Paladin, there is an attachment, and you'll see it in a second, where high caliber 2 will actually 1-shot someone in the leg. You can, even if they have armor, full HP, it's supposed to increase damage from the waist up, but you will still 1-shot them if you have high caliber 2 Again, the leg is obviously not part of the waist up, so I don't know. It just might be a glitch, a bug, I don't know, it needs to be patched, but that does not actually work properly. Next up, the Outlaw. Pretty much you're going to be needing to get a headshot with this. However, the attachment high caliber increases damage from the chest up. If they have armor, you will not be able to one-shot them. Still going to be a hit marker. So it's basically all the guns, if you are shooting them basically in the toes, they're all going to be 2 shots. Toes or most areas that do not have a multiplier. With the exception of the Paladin. That is one exception for whatever reason. But if you have high caliber ignores armor anyways because it's hitting the head. Because that's extra damage on the head. With the exception of certain things like, for example, the Outlaw, with its version of high caliber, it does increase damage from the chest up. So this will allow you to one-shot someone with no armor from the chest up. But if they have armor, you will not be able to one-shot them. You could obviously throw an FMJ on some of the snipers, and that can actually help you basically get rid of armor. But I would recommend just throwing high caliber 1 and 2 over FMJ, because this is going to give you the one-shot anyways. You don't need FMJ on the Paladin. Especially, like I said, if you're running high caliber 2, because you can one-shot in the leg, which is absolutely ridiculous. Next up, though, yeah, the Outlaw already mentioned it. You need a headshot, or if they have no armor, you can run high caliber and hit from the chest up. But if they have armor, you cannot hit them once in the chest and up. SDM, it actually is a 2-shot anywhere, so this one really doesn't matter. It does happen to have high caliber, but this one's high caliber only increases headshot damage, which completely ignores armor because the armor does not protect your face. So this will be a 2-shot. It's really unaffected. It's basically, this gun will 2-shot no matter what, even if they have armor. But high caliber will let you one-shot in the head. Because this gun, even if you get a headshot without high caliber, you won't one-shot them. It's an auto sniper. Next up, the Koshka. Again, it's in the same category. Kind of the Paladin slash Outlaw. It's kind of a mixture in between. Like, it's going to do more damage than the Outlaw, but less damage than the Paladin. So you can still one-shot, and it actually has the attachment high caliber as well, which is going to increase your damage from the stomach up. Alright, so I think we went over all the main guns. Now we're going to get into the secondaries. So the Stripe is going to be a 4-shot gun, but it's going to go to a 5-shot with armor. The RK7 is going to be a 5-shot. This is a burst gun though, it shoots 3. It's going to take 5 bullets to actually kill someone without armor, but with armor you need every single shot in both bursts to land. So it's still 2 bursts to kill someone, as long as all the bullets hit against armor, no problem. Next up, the Mozu is going to be a 3-shot kill, but it's going to change to a 4 if they happen to have armor. The shotguns, the MOG is going to be a 1-shot kill against no armor, but it will take 2 shots with armor. Unless you run the choked barrel, you can still one-shot people with armor, because this is going to increase the damage dealt by pellets and decrease pellet spread. So that's going to allow you to one-shot someone with armor. In addition to that, though, because this is a interesting gun, it has the operator mod called Dragon's Breath, which does incendiary ammo, and it's going to do damage over time. How fire any explosives, well, explosives you need flash jacket to prevent damage, but there's something weird actually with a launcher, and I'll show you guys that when I go over the gameplay. But again, just want to do this quick little thing, even though this is like 10 minutes at this point. But the Dragon's Breath will one-shot someone with armor, but it's going to do a damage over time. Again, a lot of things that do a lot of damage over time will completely ignore armor. In fact, the flamethrower, any of the radiate, all the specialist things, the dog, the grav slam, those all do not care about armor. It's going to one-shot you. The War Machine, batteries ultimate, that's also going to one-shot you. Those don't care about armor, so don't worry about like trying to use armor against those. Or if someone has armor, you can still one-shot them. So yeah, Dragon's Breath will also one-shot. The SG-12 is going to be something that there's really nothing to increase. Like anything weird with it. It's just going to be 2-shot across the board. Again, we're all testing, 150 HP with and without armor. This one's just going to be a 2-shot. Next up, though, we have the launchers. So the launcher, it will one-shot in a direct shot anyways. So basically, if you direct hit them with a rocket, doesn't matter if they have armor or not, you're one-shot them with and without armor. However, if you shoot them like kind of next to them, really close, you'll actually do reduced damage, which doesn't really make sense, but again, it's just weird interaction. You guys will see, and you guys can see how it interacts. Now, the melee, the combat knife, that's going to one-shot regardless. It does not care about armor, obviously. Now, getting into some of the interesting things. So, the frag grenades will actually hit for 15 against armor, like if it directly hits them. The frag and the Molotov, they will both kill someone. The combat axes will all kill someone with armor. It does not matter if they have armor. However, the frag grenade will do 15 damage if it hits them directly, as in you hit them physically with it. But what's interesting is the concussion over here. 9-bang actually does do damage. If you hit them, it's another 15 damage. However, for I don't know what reason, the concussion does 5 damage to them if they have armor. It's just weird, but what's interesting with this is the concussion's effect of it when it does the explosion, it does 1 damage to the player. But it also reduces armor. I have no idea why, but that's just how it works. It's very, very strange. But yeah, it does 15 damage to them direct, plus the additional 1 that you would actually deal. But if they have no armor, it's going to deal 15 plus the 1, because it does 1 damage for its little like effect of the concussion grenade. So technically you can get 16 damage out of this if it was to hit them and then flash them with no armor. But with armor, it's going to do 5, then the plus 1. Just an interesting little thing over here. But yeah, that is all of the weapons and how it interacts with armor. But I want to also show you guys more in depth on high caliber 2 and how those kind of work. But more so, that's going to be proof. I just wanted to do this really fast versus showing you guys video footage of every single thing, because I think that's majority of what people wanted. So yeah, so go ahead and enjoy kind of the interactions. It's going to show you kind of how I did all my testing. Obviously, it's not going to show you every single gun, because then we'd be here for like 2 hours. But don't worry, I legitimately did it all hand tested. Anyways, enjoy the examples that I'm going to be showing off. To the armor test, we're going to be testing out how many shots it takes to kill with every single gun. We're going to show how armor interacts in the game. We're also going to show how certain attachments affect it, like FMJ, and also other things like the high caliber 2, which is supposed to do extra damage to the upper chest. But yeah, we'll test out everything as far as armor goes. Certain things will still one-shot you even if you have armor. So the first thing I wanted to showcase off is exactly what the heck armor does. So armor will prevent damage from anywhere that you take, with the exception of the head. Level 3 armor in Battle Royale used to prevent head damage, but we're not going over Battle Royale because Battle Royale is going to be different. So as far as how much does armor reduce your damage by? Well, let me go ahead and show you. So normally the ICR does 37 damage to the body. Now, different guns also have a different headshot multiplier, which means that they will do different damage in the head.
Hostile maneuvering.
That doesn't matter because we're only covering what armor does. But like I said, sometimes certain things will add damage on the upper chest, which this can affect. So right now, we're running the ICR. It has no FMJ, and I'm going to show you guys how much damage it does. So the most important thing I think people want to know is how many shots is it going to take to kill someone with armor versus without. And we'll go over that integer on every single gun, but I just wanted to do this quick little example of how much armor reduces the damage by. So first off, again, ICR does 37 damage, but if you shoot someone with armor, it's going to deal 19. I'm going to shoot 1 bullet, and you'll see he'll take 19 points of damage. Now I'm going to go ahead and break the armor on my opponent here, and we're going to have them heal up. By the way, the reason why I'm doing this on split screen is so you can see both of the damage integers, as in you can see how much damage I'm dealing to them, and you can see, like, you know, basically it's kind of just proof that, you know, nothing's photoshopped or anything, because sometimes with just watching a video or like you read Reddit posts, you're like, well, I disagree with this. This way, there's no arguments here. So I'm going to shoot someone in the body with 1 bullet, and that's going to deal 37 points of damage. Now, armor, even though it visually just shows on the body, I'm going to show you also that it will still prevent the damage even if you hit them in the toe. So let me go ahead and showcase that. So I'm going to go ahead and kill them so they can get their armor once again, because once you die with armor, you will no longer have that armor. There's nothing that repairs armor in this game. No Torbjorn here. Alright, so you can see 150. In fact, you can actually tell if they have armor or not, because if I put my gun over them, it shows a little armor icon, as well as right above the health bars, that the red, there is that white bar, and that white bar is the armor. So you can see, again, the ICR, it does 37 damage, but if they have armor, it's going to put it at 19 points of damage. I'm going to shoot them right in the toe. Again, the armor visually, like if you compare, the armor only covers the body, but there's also a movement speed reduction. That I don't have the hard code for, so we're not going to go over that. I will probably just add that to the description box once that information is found out, because that's just a flat integer and that should be easy to obtain once that data gets out there. But this is more hand testing and proof. So again, we're going to shoot them in the toe, even though the toe does not get covered by the armor. 1 bullet. You can see the damage reduction is the same across the board. There's no certain area where the armor will protect you more. But I just wanted to get that out of the way first before going through all of our tests and just showcasing off how much damage it does. Again, there's certain attachments that are only available in certain guns. Not every gun can run FMJ. But I also wanted to show and explain, you can see that there is a durability on the armor. You can see it's about half after the first shot. But if I shoot them again, the armor barely has any. Now, if you barely have any armor, the damage that you deal will kind of go through that small amount of armor. So even though before we were dealing 19 points of damage because of the armor, if we shoot them again, we're going to do more than 19 because that armor is not going to mitigate the entirety of that damage. It's a percent value based on how much armor remains. I know it's kind of complex, but I think that to make it simple, I'm going to explain how many shots it takes. From armor versus no armor, which is the most important thing. But again, that's just extra information for you guys. So you can see we're going to do a lot more than 19 points damage. And it's because, again, he only had a small amount of armor left. So that's just kind of the blanket stuff. Now I want to get into certain attachments and what they do to the gun. So I'm going to go ahead and just throw attack insert. Now, real quick, important thing is how many shots does it take to kill someone with full HP, no armor. This is going to be showcasing off the ICR right now. So without armor, it takes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 shots without armor. But the real question is, how many shots does it take if they have armor? And again, I'm just going to do this quick little example, and then the rest are going to be much faster, because this way I can show you guys how I am doing my testing. This way, if you guys had any doubts or anything like that, it would just be much easier just to show it off this way. So, okay, now this is with armor. Again, headshots won't matter, and let me go ahead and show this off real quick. Let me actually put attack insert so I can make this spawn a little bit faster. So I'm going to place that attack insert, and I'm going to show you guys how many shots it takes. Now, there is a headshot multiplier technically, but I want to show you guys the armor does not get reduced. Every time I'm shooting in the head, there's no armor reduction on that. You can see the armor is still in full durability. That's just something I wanted to get out of the way as well, because you know, people will argue on Reddit all day about whatever. But okay, now remember it was 5 shots, but now how many shots is it going to be? I'm going to test this out. I'm going to throw down the attack insert once again, just so it is easier for us to kind of get this respawn. But it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it's going to be 6 shots with armor. Once again, let's go ahead and do it. Do that test. So they have the armor. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So armor, at the end of the day, will prevent about 1 to 2 bullets. And I say 1 to 2 specifically because certain guns do different amounts of damage. And that's why it's a little bit hard to kind of gauge how valuable is armor, because some guns, they'll kill in 2 shots pretty much regardless if you have armor or not, because of the amount of damage that they deal. That's just kind of how the game works. But like I said, I'm going to do things a little bit faster now. We're going to be testing out FMJ as well as a lot of other things, but I'm going to make it a little bit faster just for viewing pleasure. Alright, so we tested out the ICR with and without armor, but let's go ahead and show off with FMJ how many shots does it take. FMJ, that's the only thing that we've changed. So let's go ahead and show it off. So how much is this going to prevent as far as damage goes? We have 1 shot, and the one thing that's really important, you can see that shot destroyed the armor in 1 shot, and it also did the amount of damage that it should have if it's the same as if he had no armor. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So basically, FMJ completely counters armor as far as the test on that. There might be some weird interactions with certain guns that might have certain other crazy things, but with FMJ, it's going to completely delete the armor off of them. In the first shot, it wipes it out, and it still does the full damage on that first shot. I remember in the beta, a lot of people were arguing how FMJ worked, but now you guys can see the visual proof. FMJ deletes the armor off of them, and the first bullet that deletes the whole armor also still does its maximum damage. So that's just really important. Alright, so our next test is going to be using the Rampart 17 with no attachments, how many shots versus armor, and then we're going to do it with out armor. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's 5 shots with armor. Now, how many shots does it take to kill someone without armor? Let's go ahead and show that off right now. I'm just going to break the armor off of them and then have them heal up. It's the same thing. It's not like you get any penalty for having armor. So 1, 2, and that's going to destroy the armor. And then we're going to go ahead and have them heal up and showcase off how many shots it takes without armor. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So again, in this instance, the Rampart 17, the difference is going to be 1 bullet. Alright, so here is our next test. So we already know how many shots it takes with the Rampart 17, but our next test is going to be utilizing FMJ 1 and FMJ 2. So to see if there's any difference. Now FMJ 1 and 2 are not supposed to add any additional damage to someone with armor, but for all intents and purposes, we're going to go ahead and do it anyways. So right now I'm running the class with FMJ 1 and 2. I want to see how many shots does it take to actually kill them. So we're going to go ahead and throw that attack insert. So with armor, this is FMJ 1 and 2 both equipped. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4. So that is a 4-shot with both FMJ 1 and 2. It's not supposed to, again, make any difference, but for all intents and purposes, we're going to go ahead and show it off. Now we're going to go ahead and do FMJ 1. So I'm going to have my first guy get rid of the other guy. So I can respawn here. And we're going to respawn again. This is utilizing FMJ 1 only, and it's still going to be a 4-shot. But for all intents and purposes, just for video proof of how it works. So this is, again, just FMJ 1. The other one, we had both of them on it. So we're going to hit them once, twice, 3, and attack insert, respawn 4. So now you can see FMJ 1 and 2 are going to be the same thing against people with armor. What FMJ 2 does is it does additional damage to other things in the game. But as far as armor is concerned, which is the whole point of this video, does not actually add any additional damage to other players with armor. High caliber 1 as well as high caliber 2. Now high caliber 1, in most instances, it's going to deal extra damage to the head. However, some guns will have an attachment called high caliber 2, which will change the multiplier. Now, this is gun dependent. Not every gun obviously has FMJ or high caliber, but for all sake and purposes, we're going to go ahead and test out the Rampart 17 to see if you do additional damage to the chest area, because it's going to give you additional bonus damage and a multiplier on the upper chest. So I'm going to go ahead and basically shoot them right here, which would be considered the upper chest. And we're going to see how much damage that does. So this is without FMJ, because obviously you guys already know that FMJ automatically destroys the armor, and it basically negates armor completely because it destroys it within the first shot. But let's go ahead and showcase this. So taking 1 shot at them, that's going to put them at 121, which if we do the math, 121 minus the 150, that's going to be 29 damage. So 29 damage to the upper chest, and I'm going to go ahead and pop the armor right now. I'm going to see the difference. So 29 damage to the upper chest, and now what we're going to do is we're going to do the upper chest as well, without, and we'll see how much damage that does. So obviously it does do more damage. You're still going to get that bonus damage. Even if they have the armor, it still adds that layer of protection, but obviously it's going to be reduced because you're going to still do more damage. So against people that are running armor, it's still valuable to hit them in the upper chest because you still have a multiplier regardless if they have the armor or not. So interesting interaction is the gun will actually one-shot them. It's supposed to one-shot from the waist up, but you can see this is definitely his leg. And he had armor. The Paladin will still one-shot them, utilizing high caliber 1 and 2. 2 is supposed to increase damage from the waist up, but that definitely is not the waist. So that's something pretty interesting even with armor. Yeah, if I just keep on throwing stuns, they'll actually lose armor. lose health. It's 5 damage to the body if you actually hit them directly. Then 1 damage from the flash or concussion or whatever. That's very interesting though. Okay. Oh, I'm gonna put this over here. So if I get a direct hit, will it kill him? If you get a direct hit, it's killing them anyways. Okay. Alright, so hopefully this video helps you guys out. You understand how body armor works. I also wanted to mention really quick that Battle Royale has body armor level 1, 2, and 3, so that can be different. We will definitely go over Battle Royale's armor in the future. Obviously, we need to go over different ones because Battle Royale actually has a lot of different things that we'll go over when we make our Battle Royale videos. So if you want to see how armor works and as well as all the gun damages and how many shots it takes in Battle Royale, make sure you subscribe to the channel. I'll get that out when it comes out. But anyways, to really sum up the video here, body armor basically protects you against one shot against majority of the things, and it is quite useful against things that fire a lot slower. But the real question is, guys, how OP is body armor? Let me know down below in the comment section below if you still feel armor is OP. I definitely feel frustrated when I die and I know that the person would have lost that gunfight had they not had armor. But I'm really much more of a fan of this. I just think it gives you extra awareness, which I value in game. But anyways, thanks for watching, guys. Hopefully this video helped you out. Learned something new. But thanks for watching, guys. And if you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button to be updated with more Call of Duty content as well as gameplay. And when League Play comes out, I will definitely be playing more competitive for those of you guys who are like, dude, are you going to play League Play? Hell yeah. But anyways, peace out, guys. Have a good one. And I'm signing out.